Do you want to be able to create an awesome learning portal packed full of Microsoft 365 training content? It's kept completely up to date without you having to even lift a finger. It's completely free and can be deployed in less than an hour. I'm the productivity coach, and today I'll show you how. Hi, I'm Stuart Ridout, the productivity coach, and I'm a modern work customer success manager at Microsoft. Now, lots of the conversations that I'm having with my customers is about how they can keep their users up to date with the latest content by providing them with great training materials, but without having to have that overhead within their organization of creating those training materials. And what they want is a one-stop shop where all of those users can come and say, I need to know some Excel training and I need to know it right now, because you could go on an Excel course, but you might not use it for 6 months. So what you want to know is this right now because it's what I need to know at the moment. So Microsoft has a package called Learning Pathways, which is completely free and it goes into your SharePoint site and can be integrated into Teams, which makes it really easy for users to be able to self-serve. So let's just have a look at this and see what it looks like. So I've got it here in Teams. I've got it pinned here onto this left-hand bar. For even more impact, actually, it'd be better if it was pinned right at the top there. But you can see here, I've got my beautiful Learning Pathways portal here. And then down here, I've got all of the different areas. So it might be product training. So let's say I went into Teams and I wanted to know about how to manage meetings in Teams. Then I could go here. There's some great video content and text to help me out here. Alternatively, I could actually look at different things. So for instance, about security or hybrid workplace or accessibility. So this is a great way to get users to get up to speed quickly with what you already have available to you in your organization. And as I say, it is completely free. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to set it up and how you can customize this so that you can add or remove things, because you might want to remove certain packages or change it. So I'm going to show you how you can customize it as well. So I've got my Teams here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by going to aka.ms/learning pathways. Now I will put all of the links for this in the YouTube description, so don't worry about that. So here I am on my Learning Pathways page. So this tells you all about the requirements, etc. There is a link here that says Provision Learning Pathways. So if I click here, it tells you about any prerequisites, etc. These are things that your tenant admin might need to worry about. But you go to here where it says to provision learning pathways, go to the Learning Pathways solution page. Okay, and this takes you into the SharePoint lookbook, which if you haven't seen it, is definitely worth taking a look at lookbook.microsoft.com, because it is rammed full of beautiful SharePoint sites that you can just deploy at the click of a button. So important, you do need to be a tenant admin to deploy this. So you will need to get your administrator involved in this at the start. Once they've done this and they've kind of set it off to deploy, they add you as an owner of the site, and then they don't need to do any more work, but you will need them at the start to do this. And as I say, on this page, there are some things about to do with prerequisites, etc., that your admin will just want to look at because they need an app catalog, but nothing really serious for you to worry about. So all they need to do is click on Add to your tenant. Okay, and it will pop up and it goes through a wizard. It'll just ask you a few questions. So who is the person who needs to be notified when it's completed? So that'll probably be the admin. Okay, and what is going to be the link there? So you might call this Learn M365, for instance. And then all you need to do is click Provision, and then it will work in the background and it will send you an email when it's done. Now I did this earlier because it does take about 20 to 30 minutes for it to provision, but what you will get at the end is an email that looks like this, and you can click Open Site here, and we can see here that that's it. So I've got my site. This is ready to go. I could roll this out to my organization right now. I could go to Microsoft 365 training here, and this will load in all of the content here that I showed earlier. I could tailor this. So for instance, here where it says ask questions and get help, it goes to a SharePoint page. Now you would probably you'll need to customize this yourself, but you could link that tile off to another thing. So if you already had like a service request portal or something like that, then you could just link that off to there. Okay, so I'm going to show you now how you can customize this. And then lastly, I'm going to show you how you can make it into an app that goes into Teams. So I'm an admin here, so I'm going to go to this Microsoft 365 training. And as I say, you can see all of the different pieces of content that I've got here. Okay, but let's say that I don't use Access in my organization. And I say, I don't want to provide learning content for Access. I don't want people to be creating new Access databases. We're starting to look at Dataverse for Teams and Power Apps and all of those things. So I don't want the Access training to be turned on. So all I need to do as the admin is go over here, and you can see there is a cog icon here. So all I need to do is click on that cog icon and then scroll down the side here until I find Access. So here it is here. Okay, and then here, this shows me all of the lessons that are there, and it shows me this eye icon at the top level. So what I could do is if I just wanted to turn a particular one off, so let's say I just want to turn off the lesson on creating forms in Access, I could do that by just clicking on that eye icon. But I want to switch off the whole category. So I'm going to click the eye icon up here. Okay. And then if I go back to the Microsoft 365 training thing, if I scroll down, it's completely gone. Okay, so why might you want to just turn off an individual lesson? So let's take Teams as an example. So here we've provided learning content on setting up and customizing your team. And this talks through the process of how you create a team. Now, lots of customers do have their own processes for creating a team. It might be that you use the Request a Team app template that we provide free of charge for you to go through a provisioning route there with approvals, or you might have to request it through a service portal, something like this. So in this case, you wouldn't want to have our learning content available to your users. So it's really easy to switch that out, turn this off, and provide your own. So again, I'm going to go to this cog over here on the right hand side, and I'm going to go down to Teams here. So let's look for Microsoft Teams. So again, same as before we were looking at, we can see all of these different lessons here. So I want to look at this one here, which is set up and customize your team. So I'm going to turn this off. So all I need to do is click on the eye, and that's now been turned off. So if I go back onto the training pages and I go into Teams, that lesson is completely gone now. Okay, so what I want to do now is actually replace it with my own. So again, I'm going to go back to that cog. Okay, I'm going to go down to Microsoft Teams, and I'm going to click the plus up here. So next to that eye where we could turn the whole category off, there is a plus icon here. So this allows us to create our own learning path that sits within this. So I'm going to say create a new team. Okay, this lesson shows you how to create a new Microsoft Teams team. There we go. Okay, now you can do some of these things, say which technology. So for instance, this is Teams. These aren't compulsory. You can see which ones are compulsory because they've got the little star. Okay, it has already picked up Teams because I did it from within the Teams category. If I've got an image that I wanted to use there, then I could choose image, or I could just go with the default one that we have. Okay, again, I could pick the level, but again, this isn't compulsory. And the same here with audience. I could pick that, but it isn't compulsory. And then what I need to do is click Save Detail. Okay, so that's created that part of the learning path there. And then what I need to do is add assets in. So I'm going to click New Asset there. Okay, so I'm going to say create a new team. Okay, and I can either, if I've already got a page where I have that data, then I could click on this button that says enter URL, and then I could just paste that in there. Or if I didn't, let me just go through that again. I could just create the asset page myself, click that button there. It's created a page for me, a SharePoint page within the Learning Hub there, and I can click Save Asset, and then I'd be able to kind of go in and customize that and change that, etc. So I've done that now. Okay, And if I go back again to the Microsoft 365 training and I go into Microsoft Teams, then here I will be able to find, if I just scroll down, there it is, create a new team. So our new lesson has appeared in there. So if I click to that, that's taken me to the page where that's there. So I obviously have no content on that page yet. So what I would need to do is go into the site contents for SharePoint, find our pages. Let's go to site pages and find that create a team one that I've just created. So let's just sort it there, create a team. And then I'd be able to edit that page. Okay. It's the first time I've done this. So then now that might be that actually we kind of add a link to Stream or we add a link to YouTube. So in fact, let's do this. So let's just go and grab a video from Productivity Coach. Okay, this isn't quite the right one, but it doesn't matter too much. We're just going to copy that one there. And then on our page, I'm going to pop in that link. There it is. Okay, and I'm going to publish that. Perfect. Now, if I go back to the training and go to Microsoft Teams, go to that create a new team page that I've created. There you go. We've got it right there. We've got the video. Really easy for people to be able to find it. So there you can see how we can really quickly and easily customize that site to take out the content we don't need, to add in our own flavor of the content if we really need to. And I would say to only put it in if you desperately need to. So for instance, creating a team is probably one of the only examples where I can think that you might want to add your own custom content, because a lot of the time, there isn't a variant between customers. So you want to have our content because it's kept up to date. And is refreshed on a daily basis. So whenever there's new content, it gets added automatically. So the next step is to look at how we can take this beautiful learning pathway site and make it really easy for people to find. Now, sure, we could share the link with them, but we know from things like SharePoint intranets, or if we've got another learning site, etc., they don't always get a lot of traffic. So for this one particular, because it's about saying to people, hey, you asked us for more training on Word, Excel, Teams, etc., and we've provided that for you, and we want to make it really, really easy for them to find that. So we're going to create an app to go onto that left-hand side of Teams. So I'm just going to show you again just how easy that is. So let's just close off some of these tabs. Let's get rid of some of these ones that we don't need. There we go. So here is my site here. Now I'm going to, again, I'm going to share the link to for this in the YouTube description. But if we go to aka.ms/SharePoint-app-in-teams, there is a really, really awesome set of instructions that tell you how you can create this. So I'm going to show you, but this one here will back you up on that. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my Teams and I'm going to go to Apps and I'm going to look for App Studio. Okay, so here is App Studio here. It's got this purple icon. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to click the add button. Now, if you've added this previously, it might say open, but this is the first time. So I'm just going to click add. And what I'm going to do is click this button here that says create a new app. So this one here. So I click create a new app and there is a form that I need to fill it in. So let's say that I'm going to just call this my organization name. So I'm going to call it Contoso, because what you could do is you could have a tab that's got your learning portal. It might go to your intranet, etc. So you might make this one-stop shop for your organization. So I need to give it a short name, which is Contoso, and I'm going to call this the Contoso Home App as the full name. Then it's got this app ID. Let's just zoom in a bit here, make it easier to see. There we go. Then we've got this app ID. So all we need to do is click generate. Then it's got a package name. Now it's given you an example. So let's just call this com.contoso.home. and a version number. So again, it's giving you an example. So I'm just gonna go with that and go 1.0.0. Then we need to include a short description and a long description. Okay, so this is the one-stop shop for all things Contoso. Okay, and then the full description. So this might be a longer one. So find out about the latest training for Microsoft 365. Get quick access to how-to videos and content. There we go. So we can give a full description. Then we need to enter developer information. So I'm going to go to Contoso, put in our website. So I'm going to put contoso.com. Okay. This partner information is not needed. So here we go to app URL. So one's for your privacy policy. So I'm going to go to contoso.com/privacy and then contoso.com/terms of use. So these could be to intranet pages as well. Then we've got this branding section here. So the icons are for these icons here that go on the side. So we've got a full color version, which is 192 pixels by 192 pixels. And then we've got this transparent white version, which is 32 by 32. Okay, so you can actually find icons, free icons out there on the internet that you can use for these. You just need to make sure that they're in the right sizes. So I'm going to update this, and I've actually got a couple of ones here. This is like an announcement type style. So I've got this one here, which is my full color. There we go. And then I've got my outline one, which is just a completely white version. So there you go. So I've got my icons there. So that's told us all about the app. Then we need to configure these tabs. So a bit like we've got here at the top here. So where are they going to go? So I'm going to add a personal tab. Now, as I say, all of these instructions are here on this page here. Okay, so for instance, here we're at the bit where it says click on tabs under capabilities and add under a personal tab. Okay, so we're going to say learning is the name of the tab. I'm going to call it learning again. Then I'm going to paste in my URL. So let's just pop back here and I'm going to copy that address. Okay, I'm going to paste that in there and in there. Now, on the content URL, there's something extra you need to do. So I'm going to jump back onto the steps here because it says fill in the content URL and the website URL. Okay, and it says the website URL is just the address, and then it says content URL, the site URL, i.e. the address, and then it's got a bit of gubbins here, and then it's got a thing that says site path. Now they have provided you an example here. Okay, so you can see here they provide you an example. So this part here is the site URL. Then we've got all of the gubbins. Okay, we've got up to and dest equals, and then here is the site path. So that's the end of that address. So we've got the full address, then the stuff, then the end of the address. Okay, so what I'm just going to do is I'm going to copy that, copy the bit in the middle from there. Okay, and I'm going to go to mine. So at the end, I've got, my address, .sharepoint.com/sites/learn M365, then the gubbins. Okay, and then I just need to grab that sites.learn M365 again. And we're just going to stick that at the end. So let's just check that again against that format so it looks the same. Okay, that's probably the most difficult bit. Okay, we scroll down here and we go to domains and permissions. Now this should be already configured for you, but it should have picked up your SharePoint domain here. So you should see your SharePoint site appear here. And then the last bit that we need to do is we need to include this app ID so that it's got a single sign in so that it knows who the person is who's using it. So again, you just need to copy in this address here, or this number here, and paste that into there. and then pop in the address. So again, it's telling you here the website that's taking the token. So we're going to just pop in our site there. Okay. So that's probably the most difficult bit, as I say. So we're actually done now. So that's our app ready to go. So all I need to do is just to test it. So I can click install. Okay. And click add. And now we can see that that's been added onto my sidebar there. It's picked up that the white version of that because it's on this new light sidebar here. And you can see that it's taken me directly into that learning content. So again, this is just a normal SharePoint site. So if you need to kind of change these tiles or whatever, you would just be able to edit it like a normal SharePoint page there. Okay, so I'm going to just pop back again to App Studio, because the next step I want to do is make it available to everybody else. Let me go into my Contoso home one there and test and distribute. And I'm going to publish the app to the Tenant app catalog or the Teams app store. So I'm going to click that publish button. And here it's just saying publish to Contoso app catalog. And it's just loading to see whether I have the permissions to publish it or whether I need to go through a request. So it says here, submit to your IT admin for review. Once published, your app will be available in Teams exclusively for your organization. So I'm just going to click that button there. Okay, and I'm going to submit it. And then the next step is you need to go and talk to your admin about them approving the app and then pushing it out to everybody else. Lovely. So off you go. You go to talk to your admin and your admin will need to do this last step here. Okay, and again, I'm going to pop a link with a set of instructions here into the YouTube description for them to be able to do. So I'm just waiting for that request to go through to go into the app catalog. But what they'll need to do is go into the admin center, go to Teams, and then they will need to go onto the side here where we've got Teams apps and manage apps. Okay, so that hasn't quite come through there. We're just waiting for a moment for that to come through. Now, once that goes through, they would actually have an indicator here that said how many are pending approval. If for some reason that doesn't work, okay, the other way that you can do it is to download the package, okay, and then you can give that to your admin, and they can actually manually load it. So they can then go into upload. They can find that Contoso file there. That would then be loaded into your catalog. So that's now available for everyone. Then they can go to setup policies, go to global, add the apps that they want to install. So they want to install that Contoso app. There it is. They're going to add that for everybody. And then this is the crucial bit. We need them to add apps here. Look for that Contoso app again. Add it and pin it for everyone. And then lastly, let's move it right up to the top there so that it's available for everybody without them having to do anything. Then all they need to do is click save. And then you need to wait. And then it might take a couple of hours, but then over the next couple of hours, that will then appear on this sidebar for everybody to be able to come in. So what will happen is when they just go to Teams, so I'm doing it in the browser, but they could be using the client. The next time they load it in, it will just appear and it will appear up at the top there for them to make it really, really easy for them to be able to get into that app. So there you go. A beautiful learning site there. Obviously, I've shown you kind of how you can create that app package and talk with your admin about pushing it out for everyone. But you can see there that after you've clicked the button and just waited for it to deploy, it was actually ready to go. It needed a little bit, maybe it might need a little bit of a tweak kind of visually, rebranding, etc. for yours. But it's a great way to go to your employees, your users, and say, you told us that you needed help with training for Microsoft products, and we've provided this to you. Here's a great service, go and use it. And like I say, by pinning it onto that side in Teams, it makes it super easy for people to be able to find that and consume it. So hopefully you found this useful. If you do, then please go and implement it. Tell me that you've done it, so we can see about the impact for you within your organization. Go and tell a friend if you've got another IT admin friend or another learning admin friend who might be interested in this. Just a reminder that I put content out weekly on YouTube and LinkedIn. I've had a couple of weeks off just to kind of maintain workload, etc. But normally I publish content on Tuesday or Wednesday on LinkedIn and YouTube, and then on a Friday I try and do a lunch and learn live at 12:30 GMT. This week will be the last week GMT, and then from next week, so from after the 29th of March, so from the 2nd of April, it'll be at 12:30 BST rather than GMT. But hopefully you found this useful. On the go to YouTube channel, youtube.com/productivity coach. Like the video, subscribe, click the notification bell so you find out about new videos. Hopefully you find this useful in your organization. Have a great day.